welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, May 23rd, 2015. This is Season 9, Episode 21. I'm Scott.
I'm Dennis.
I'm Matt.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Nathan.
And welcome to the show, everybody. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. 334-272-9228 is the number. You can check out InGameChat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at In-Game Chat. You can find us on Facebook as In-Game Chat. You can also email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. We are also streaming right now at Twitch. Head over to twitch.tv. You can find us there. Just go to twitch.tv, search for In-Game Chat, and you'll be able to find us. You'll be able to watch the show, listen to the show, and interact with the show through the chat room that we have there. And yeah, good way to experience the show if you've never tried that way before. Twitch.tv. Also, our Patreon is up and running. Nate will throw in a link to that here in just a minute into the chat room, and would appreciate your donations and that sort of thing. I think we're up to $50 right now, and if we ever get to 200, we'll do the off-air shows. 300 will get us a new computer, and then from there we'll keep adding stuff as we hit milestones. But we appreciate your help, and we thank you so much. And if you're curious what a Patreon is, go to patreon.com/ingamechat, and it explains exactly what it is and exactly what you'd be doing and how you'd be helping us. So we do appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Welcome to the show. Hello. What's been going on with everybody? It's been a week now, and let's check in with Dennis and to see what he's been doing.
Same as before, just more Final Fantasy 14, just chipping away at that before Heavensward comes out.
Yeah.
Nothing really new, just keep hammering away at it till I can hit 50.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, I'm at 26 right now.
Yeah, we found out last week when the expansion hits. It's the same day as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So
no Batman for me.
I don't necessarily know that it was it ever going to be a Batman for you? Will it? I mean,
it wouldn't have been a Batman Day one for me. It would have been probably a couple months out. I'm not.
Can you run a Batman game?
Yeah, I can run a Batman.
Okay, well, you're running Final Fantasy 14.
I can run it on my laptop.
On your laptop. Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, desktop is a bit questionable at times, but no, I played. I never did really get into Origins. I think I eventually got through a Humble Bundle or something, but I still haven't started it up. So it's kind of like, I'll play Arkham Knight one day.
Oh, by the way, before we move on to the rest of the group here, I meant to say that we do have a free copy of Witcher 3 to give away. It is a GOG version of the game. There's also some speculation. It may work, it may not work. I don't know. I got this key at E3 last year, and I didn't use it. I just held on to it and wanted to wait until... Obviously, the game got delayed by the time... even after I had this key, the game got delayed. But we've got a key. You can redeem it at GOG, and we're going to give it away. Again, I believe it still works, but I don't know. Might as well give it away, and if it works for somebody who tries it out, congratulations, you got a copy of Witcher 3. So there was no way for me to test it without possibly screwing it up and redeeming it. So I didn't know what to do. So I thought, let's just give it away. And if it still works, then hey, lucky you. If it doesn't, thanks for letting us test it on you. But that's how we'll give it away, and we appreciate it. But you got to be in the Twitch chat room in order to do this.
Schrodinger's Witcher 3.
What? Oh yeah, exactly.
It might be alive, might be dead.
Yeah, but you've got to be in the chat room in order to win this key. Matt, what's been going on with you?
How about we go to RJ? I'll explain about my predicament after that. It might take a little bit longer.
RJ, how about you? Matt would like to.
Matt wants to be the star today.
Matt wants to say the best for last, right?
Yeah. Take a little bit longer.
Yeah, make it take a little longer. Yeah.
Please, man. Sometimes I've talked about one game that's gone 30 minutes because I ramble.
I haven't played. Well, actually, I played a little bit of GTA 5, but no, it's computer issues.
Yeah.
That's what I've been playing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, RJ.
Yeah. Put Bloodborne and Mortal Kombat down for a little bit. Went back to Virtua Fighter 5. So I had a nice little 2-hour session this morning with a couple of friends of mine from VirtuaFighter.com, Fox and Modella. If you're listening, thanks for the session. We had a good little time with that, so I played that for a good while. Also played this game that was free on PlayStation Plus, Race the Sun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they put that out there for free, and I've never heard of it or played it, but it was free,
Yeah.
so I figured why not give it a shot. And I really like what I was doing with it. It held my attention for a pretty long time. You know, it was like a lot of trial and error. Can't go this way, can't go this way, and you know, flying that little solar plane across the region and trying not to hit anything for lengthy amounts of time. And you know, it's just, like I said, trial and error, trying to get through there. It was really fun, really simple concept, but it was very entertaining, and I had a really good time with that.
A racing type game?
Well, it's basically you have a ship and you're just flying over this region and you're trying to avoid obstacles. You know, one hit you're done. You can bump into stuff, but if you have a head-on collision, your ship is gone and you stop right there. It's kind of along the veins of Cannonball, or just how far can you get before you eventually get killed or stop.
Reminds me
Okay.
of a little bit of like Flappy Birds, only a little more in depth than that. But you know, you hit one thing and over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pick up items, pick up boosts. The better you do, the more things you can upgrade your ship. You can find warp levels to warp you to this area to pick up little icons, these little blue icons that builds up your score multiplier, things like that. You know, it's a nice little, nice challenging little simple game, and it really
Okay.
helped my interest for a pretty long time. But
Yeah, kind of sounds like in the endless runner genre.
Yeah.
Almost.
yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But other than that, that's pretty much the two I've spent a lot of time with this week.
And Nate, over to you.
Definitely more Grand Theft Auto. I'm on the very last heist, so finish that up. I've been playing that very, very casually. Have you finished it, Matt?
I beat it
Or-
on the PS3.
But I'm saying PC since you've been replaying it.
I've been playing on the PS4, but no,
I
I
thought you
haven't.
picked it on PC.
I did, but I haven't played it yet on that.
Oh, okay.
But no, I think I'm like halfway through
Okay.
on the PS4. I just finished the mission where you're in the JB 700
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and you know you're driving and shoot. I want that car. That's what I want, like a mod for on the PC, just so I could just drive around Los Santos with the shooting and the.
Give it a little time.
I'm sure it'll come out.
Or with your new computer, you can learn how to mod.
True.
It's not that hard.
If I get it running.
Exactly. And then I've also been playing. I have a Nintendo, or not Nintendo, a
What?
Sega emulator,
Oh, okay.
and I've been playing Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh
Ah,
wow.
good stuff.
You know, just I had to go back to it. I don't know why. It just kind of hit me. And I spent like 3 hours playing that.
I never played that. Heard
Oh,
a lot of
really?
great things about it, but I never played it.
Yeah, it's a good game. In order to actually beat the game, you pretty much have to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Even though there's passwords for advancing, it's
hmm
you don't start with any of the items if you advance through the stages.
Yeah, so I was going old school with that, and then I plan on playing. What was the RJ the game? Disaster Report on PlayStation 2. I plan on going that this week. Now that I have a little bit of time. And then I also played that one new game, something The Witcher or something.
Oh yeah. We should.
I don't-
We'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
that's not a major
I don't know what
title
that
or
was.
anything.
Something about that.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about that in another segment. I
Crazy
have
indie
not.
games.
That good. That's all for you.
And then Hearthstone.
And Hearthstone. Yeah.
Which I plan on streaming that this week, by the way. If anyone wants
I
to
have
watch.
played all of. I don't know. Actual gameplay. I probably played maybe 10 minutes of The Witcher 3. I got through the tutorial, and by the tutorial I mean the beginning tutorial, not like the first segment that I
Mhm.
think is still all tutorial, but the first one that shows you combat, or that tells you how to do combat.
To me, you're actually in the game once you fight the Griffin. If you're not there, then you're not actually.
Yeah.
So you're still in the tutorial.
Yeah, I haven't even fought the Griffin.
You're
I've
still
come
not
to I've come to where the Griffin makes his appearance.
Yeah.
Its appearance, but I haven't got any further than that because I couldn't go any further than that. I get
Like literally could not.
I could
get past
not.
it.
My game. You know, we'll talk about that. So I've attempted to play Witcher, and we'll go into that when we get to our Witcher segment. What else have I played? I really haven't played much else, except for Axiom Verge is still holding my attention extremely well.
Good.
I played, in fact, so I was up here last week getting everything ready, and I had like an hour of nothing to do. I always come here just in case there's something goes nuts while we're doing this, just so I can have the prep time to make sure everything's good to go. And I got done really early last week, and really wish I had a controller here with me so that I could play Axiom Verge while I was here at the station. And so today I brought my controller, had some time, and started playing it again. And I tell you, every time I play that game, I have more discovery. I mean, not a single session, be it 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I run into something that I didn't see the last time, or something new that upgrades my character, or that progresses the adventure. And sure enough, did it again. Ran into a cutscene while I was here playing, which they're very few and far between the cutscenes. I don't know. They're talking about a cutscene during a 16-bit game.
Yeah, no,
it's a segment that progressed the story even further. So I am enjoying the hell out of Axiom Verge, and I encourage anybody to pick this game up. If you're a fan of any of the Metroid-type games, especially the Metroid-type games, and I hear a lot of, and I did not play this, and you guys are going to, get me again for something I haven't done yet, but I've never played Super Metroid.
Oh, man.
I know. And I hear everybody who sees this, I've shown it to people who've either who've watched me, not stream it, but watched through Steam streaming. They've either watched me play it through Steam, or they've seen me play it, and they'll say, "How is it?" And I say, "Well, if you like Metroid, it's a lot like that." "I like Super Metroid," and I was like, "Well, it's a lot like that."
Yeah.
"Oh, I love Super Metroid."
Metroid, Symphony of the Night, all those, that Metroid-vania.
Yeah, it's more Metroid than it is Vania. So much more Metroid.
Yeah.
God, it's very much.
They're not dissimilar.
No, I understand. But like down to the music and just so much stuff, it is so. Yeah, I know, Lavos. Play Super Metroid.
Ninja Gaiden like cutscenes. I get that. That's good.
Yes, that's a great explanation for what that is. But yeah, it's just fantastic. It really is fantastic. So if you are just even on the fence the tiniest bit, go ahead, take the dive, because it is worth getting into. That is a fantastic game.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of those I eventually pick up.
Oh my god, man, I love it. I really love it. It's and maybe Witcher 3 would have distracted me this week had I been able to play it. But when it was just giving me so much frustration trying to get Witcher 3 to run, I would just fire that up and progress even further. It's just that good. It really is that good. So Axiom Verge has my vote for fantastic game and worth your money.
All right.
To give you a quick review. Anyway, on to Matt, who says he's got tons. You got 15 minutes worth of stuff?
I think I can.
All right.
Well, first, Monday I did play with Duke more Resident Evil 5, or we played at Resident Evil 5.
Right.
Where are you at right now?
We just beat the flying moth creature.
Okay, so you not quite to the halfway point then?
Not quite. I'm remembering why I didn't really enjoy the game to begin with. Although I like playing with Duke. He's fun to play with, and any kind of like bad game co-op is infinitely better than just by yourself.
You guys should give 6 a try.
But I mean, that
6
game,
is a
the
bit
story is just so convolutedly stupid. And I mean, like, even for a Resident Evil series, it just went off the rails of just like, what, really? But I'm enjoying it, so I'm having a really good time with that. Although it's very frustrating because we're playing on the like nightmare level, so 40 shots with a shotgun just to take down the smallest creature. They're just bullet sponges. And
yeah,
that's
boring.
That's not challenging. That's not oh my gosh, it's difficult. It's just like frustrating. So whatever.
I always find it more interesting when the challenges are like new attacks coming at you, not necessarily just.
Yeah, they just
more
absorb
do
everything.
More damage and take.
And they look at you sideways and you're dead.
Now we talk about 40 shotgun blasts to the chest or to the head.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
So 40 headshots is the equivalent of 40 ankle shots.
It seems that way. I mean, they just absorb everything that you shoot at them. You run out of ammo before anything, and there's like hardly any ammo around. It's just it's frustrating at times, and we die a lot. But so I was doing that, and then like I said, I started upgrading my computer. So I went ahead and I got a new video card as well as some RAM. And the RAM came in today.
I was going to say, you've ordered these things, but
yes.
But so far you've only gotten the RAM.
The RAM came in today. The video card came in, I think it was Wednesday.
Okay. What did you go? Okay.
I got the
if
970.
If you have your PC part picker list, did you make one? You made one of those.
I made
right?
one, yeah.
Yeah, you should post that into the chat room so people, and maybe you already did. I don't know.
I
You
haven't
should post
yeah.
that in the chat
Yeah.
room so everybody can see what you're going with on this, because it is really scaled back from what we were talking about last week.
Well, that was all like, if I win the lottery, kind of, pie in the sky.
No, I didn't want that though. I wanted seriously.
I know, but that's
what you were
that's
thinking
once
about
when I
getting.
went home and I started looking at it, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm not really gonna get two Titans, Crossfire or SLI together or anything.
You were talking about SLI.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
but I mean, I went ahead and I went with just one 970, which I think it's like four. Like I was talking with James, it's like 4 generations above what I had before.
Oh God, yeah.
So that should help out a lot. And then 16 gigs of RAM.
Good.
Went ahead and got that.
Because you were thinking about 32.
I was thinking about 32, but and I already kept. I have 4 in there, like, because it was like I had 8 gigs, but it was like 4 2s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to keep 2 in there, so I'll have like 20 gigs of RAM. Just why not?
Okay.
But
so you're doing 2 8-gig sticks.
2 8-gig sticks, and
okay.
Yeah.
What are the speeds of the other sticks?
Yeah, make sure.
Because if the sticks are slower, then the other sticks will be slower.
Oh, then I'll take them out.
Yeah.
I haven't powered it on yet.
Okay.
But so what I did, I got my video card in, and I was all excited. And
I'm glad you're telling us this stuff, man, before you did that.
Yeah. So get it in, and I put it in, and I boot up my computer, and it kept on going to post, and then rebooting, and then to post, then rebooting. It wouldn't actually load Windows. I'm like, oh, this is kind of frustrating. So maybe it's just something wrong. I forgot to, take off the video driver. So maybe that's what it is. So I put my other cards back in there, the original ones, and it did the same thing. It wouldn't load Windows at all. And so frustratingly, I, took it over to, James and Jeremy to have them look at it. And it looks like my C drive with my Windows, it just crashed. It was dead.
Weird.
I mean,
because it was working fine before, or no?
It was working before, but maybe that they're like it could have been corrupted all this time, and just that was the impetus for it just totally giving out, which it did. And so I'm like, all right, you know what? I've been talking about getting a solid state drive for a while, been wanting to.
Man, you really should. If you're doing a new build on this, you really should. At least just as a drive to boot off of. Yeah.
And
really
so I was looking at, I found one that was like 500 gigs.
Mm-hmm.
That way I could have Windows on there, and then also put my Steam games on there and stuff like that, and just whatever. So that came in today. And so I'm like, all right,
that's going to be fun to mess around with.
Yeah.
I loved oh, man.
So I was like, doing
that
some
thing.
cable management. I had some excess cables I don't really need in there anymore, so I just took them out from the power supply. Opened up some bays so that way I have a little bit better airflow, all that kind of stuff. And then I got the Windows disk from James. I borrowed it so that way I can install Windows. And then I found my CD key, and then I put it in, and not working. And this was like this afternoon, like at 2. So I'm like looking at my clock, going, oh, crud. So I'm like trying to figure it out. It says, this key does not work. This key is not, correct. And I'm looking through, and then I, look at the disk. It's a Windows 8 CD key and a Windows 8.1 disk. So I was like, son of a. So
I think I have a Windows 8 disk.
Oh yeah.
I think.
If you don't, you can just. Do you have any extra USB drives?
I can find some somewhere. I'm just gonna download it from Microsoft.
Yeah, and put it.
I was thinking about either I was probably just gonna burn it onto a disk and then.
Or you could do that. Like I have Windows 7 and 8 on my USB drives.
Yeah.
And you just pop them in and install them that way.
Okay.
Well, I say 8.1. I have 8.
I'll put an 8 on there, then upgrade to 8.1. So yeah, my just get some new stuff in and taking some old stuff out. Hopefully tonight I'll get it running.
Okay, so tonight is probably the night you get everything going, and
I'm gonna try to, because I'll have to re-grab.
You got a lot to do.
Yeah, I have to re-download Steam, redo.
So what's
virus
new?
Checker. Huh?
What did you get new?
New hard drive, new RAM, and new video card.
Okay, so it's same motherboard.
Yeah.
And same CPU.
Yeah.
And same power supply.
Yeah. Okay. So this will, I'll work on this now, and slowly piece it together. But as of now, those are the 3 new components, and see how well that works. sure, with the the extra RAM and the better video card, that'll help out, playing stuff. So,
Hey, what type of motherboard do you have?
it's an Asus. I forget the exact model.
I was just
number.
wondering if you knew the speed that it runs the graphics card at.
Off the top of my head.
times 16
Well,
times-
if you've got all my stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, the motherboard you've got is probably a 2, probably PCI Express 2,
I think so.
Okay.
and not 3.
Yeah,
You'd see a big improvement on 3.
I know. And eventually, I'll get
Yeah,
the new
no, I
motherboard, and
It may be. I'm sure it's probably
it
2.
is too.
How was it? 5 years?
at
I
least
can't remember. I
Well,
can't
then it could
remember.
be 3.1 would be the new one.
I think it was 2 when I looked up, the specs and everything.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, eventually I'll get a new motherboard.
Yeah.
And then with the processor with that, but that'll be like maybe.
What are you going to play first?
I think I'm trying to I've been thinking about that. What to run through. I think I'm going to try and go with.
I mean, you get the 2 free games. You get Witcher
They haven't
3.
come in yet.
I know, but you
Yeah,
will.
eventually I'll get the.
I'm
the
surprised
code.
I'm surprised the codes haven't come in yet. Did you have to mail those off, or don't they email them?
They
to you?
email them to you, but they said like it'll be about like 7 days after purchase.
That's weird.
So hopefully next week I'll get the
Yeah.
email codes. But probably I'm thinking GTA 5, seeing how that runs.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
I
I wouldn't do The Witcher.
No, don't do The Witcher. no, don't do Witcher.
What, is there
Eventually,
some kind of stability problem or something?
no, it's just a really crap game.
More.
No, it's just a
I would
stability problem.
say, but even if besides The Witcher, just because GTA 5 has so much more tinkering.
Oh yeah,
settings, so many
exactly,
different
exactly.
types of
And it's not.
settings.
Yeah,
And-
I don't even mean just because of the stability. Number one, your motherboard probably, Witcher 3, yes, the stability issues. But I think you will have more fun with tweaking something like GTA 5, something like Sniper Elite 3.
Yeah.
Anything that you can change.
Maybe
this-
like go back into Skyrim and see about like bumping those
You've got Arkham Origins, right?
I do.
On PC.
Yeah.
That's another one to mess with. Plus, it uses the, I don't even know. Does GTA 5 use the NVIDIA
The
tweaky
physics?
things and all
Oh.
that stuff?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Arkham Origins does, and I know a couple of other titles do. So, yeah, just something fun to start off with.
Oh yeah.
But I believe I was reading up on this morning from Forum Post last night and yesterday. There's now an image of AMD's new cards,
Yeah.
of what they look like, and now there's an image
Of the new
supposedly of the new NVIDIA card. Well, I say it's the new. It's the TI variant for the 980.
Mm-hmm.
And rumor is that the 980 Ti will be announced in the next 2 weeks. Announced and available in the next 2 weeks, and the AMD cards will be announced sometime in June with availability late June, probably around the time FF14 and stuff hits.
Yeah.
Kind of late June for that. So just as you get a new card,
But,
this
I
is
mean-
how the cycle goes.
Oh
but
yeah.
yes.
I'm fully aware. The PC cycles.
The card you got, the 970 is great. That
Oh, yeah.
price performance, man, that thing is wonderful.
and
I
I
think
mean
it's
better than what I
fantastic.
was running before.
Yeah, well, and
Like,
compared to what you had,
a lot
yes.
better than what I was
Yes.
running before. So, I mean, if I also want to just see how since I played LA Noire recently, just notice the difference in smoothness to see how
Yeah.
how better that runs.
And there's something whenever you do. So you ordered the SSD, right? You've ordered
Yes,
it.
it's already in.
It's already in. Yeah. There is. I will try and shoot you a link to what I use. There's like a guide that I found through Reddit when you're setting up an SSD. All the different things that you can go through just to maximize the speed, and especially the boot speed, to get to. So, I disabled the Windows animation and all that stuff that comes up, so it just goes right to the login screen. So it skips all that stuff, and I shaved we're talking SSD. I shaved like 4 seconds, maybe 3 seconds off of how fast it gets from boot to login.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole list of things to do to give it a clean install, to do it, for the very first time, to do all these different things. It doesn't take very long. It's a very step-by-step type process. So it feels and it looks like it's a lot of stuff to do, but it really
it's
doesn't
not.
take very long at all to do.
Well, what did you get?
The
Samsung, Crucial,
No,
Kingston?
Crucial.
Crucial.
yeah.
Crucial. Okay. So,
So-
say with if you got a Samsung, their app does all of that.
Oh, does it?
Mm.
I did not know that. Well, at the time I
go-
bought it, I don't think it did, but I don't know.
Have you rerun it?
No. This was back in 2012.
You have a Samsung?
Yes.
You should download their new program
Yeah.
for that card because you can turn off the animation stuff like that.
I'll have to look. I want to say it was an 830 Evo.
I have the 840.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it was an 840 Evo. It's an Evo, whatever it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
But their app's cool.
Yeah.
Their program.
All right. Well, anything else?
That's really about it.
Okay.
Can't wait to get
I know.
that up and
That's
running.
fun stuff, man. Fun stuff.
It's been kind of just miserable not having computer for the past couple of days. Just in general, like, all right, hey, I want to watch a movie on my hard drive. Oh yeah, I don't.
Oh, that's right. Your hard drive full of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did that survive?
Oh yeah, it's just my Windows drive.
Gotcha.
It was gone. So hopefully I'll be able to plug it in, maybe recoup some of my music that I've amassed over the years, or
Oh. We're going to take a break. Oh, before I do, just to let you know, Monday I'm going to be streaming the Portal Pinball table from Zen Studios for Pinball FX 2.
Is this a early?
It releases next week.
Okay.
But it will be an early preview of it because I think it releases either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So Monday, I'll be streaming quite a bit of that. I have not. I fired it up already just to make sure that the code worked and to make sure everything was good. But I have not played the table at all. I haven't even launched a ball from it. I went in, I looked at the table, made sure it was there, and then I backed out, and that's it. So that's how I always like to do these previews. I like to do previews without me ever having touched the table before.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I do a brand new table, I like to go in completely blind on it. I don't read the instructions as far as the objectives and things that you can do with it. I don't look at any of that stuff. I just play it completely blind and figure it out as I go. I don't know why. It's just this thing. I enjoy the discovery of how a table works rather than knowing how a table works ahead of time. It helps with your high score to know the objectives. It helps with gaining a high score to know what you're supposed to do. But here's the thing.
But that's not the point of your first time.
If I walked into an arcade and I had never played any of those pinball machines, there is no guide as to what to do on them.
Yeah.
There is no instructions as to how the things work.
You just have to figure it out.
You just play it and figure it out on your own. A lot of these games, like Pinball Arcade and Pinball FX 2, they come with here's the table instructions to show you, okay, you want to aim for this hole to start this objective, and then while that objective's going on, you want to shoot here and do all this. It gives you a guide as to how to play the table. And that's fine. I don't mind having those. But if I were to walk into any arcade, I wouldn't know how to play, and I'd never played the table before in my life. I wouldn't know how to play it then, so I would just jump in and start flipping the ball around.
Yeah.
So that's how I play. That's how I play those. So anyway, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, I guess we'll jump into the Witcher 3 talk. Might as well. And we'll have more of in-game chat here in just a moment. Here is music from Myst. We'll be right back. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music there from Outrunners. Actually, I think it's called Outrunners, but the name of the game is Outrun. Is that correct? It
No,
came
it's
from
Outrunners.
Oh, it's Outrunners?
Yeah, sequel
Okay.
to, one of the sequels to Outrun. Yeah.
Gotcha. I didn't know. I remember the game. I remember Outrun,
Yeah.
but I don't remember any sequels or anything like that. But
Mhm.
all right.
Plenty of sequels. Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the show. We're going to jump into our Witcher 3 conversation. If you've played The Witcher 3 or if you're having troubles with The Witcher 3, we'd love to hear what kind of mess you're going through with it as well, or what kind of success you're having with it, because it does seem to be across the board mixed with success and, I would say failure, but, just not
Issues.
working. I got my copy. So I got review copy. I got a review code, and review code did not go out until Monday. And even if you activated it, it didn't unlock until 6 p.m. Central, which I think is exactly when it unlocked for everybody.
Yeah.
I think.
Pending the time zone.
Yeah, depending on the time zone. And a lot of people were shouting that it was DRM was the reason for that. And that might be the case. That might be part of it. But going through the issues that I was going through, it might have just been because, well, it's not very optimized, or we haven't, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't want to say that it's like that, but
You can make a case for either one.
well, the problem is if this were any other company, I would be saying that.
Yeah.
If this were Ubisoft, they've got a history of doing this or having stuff that just does not play well.
Mhm.
I'd already be pitchfork in hand, saying that they released it, it's crap. So, and possibly with EA, the same thing, especially after Battlefield 4 and the problems that it had.
Now, you've played the first two, right?
I played the first game.
Okay, but you never played any of them on release.
No, I've never played any of them on console.
But on release, like when they've come out.
No,
Okay.
never did.
Okay.
Never did. So it's interesting because it unlocked for me and I started playing it. I decided to put I think I put everything on high. I just went through the whatever. I put it on high. I did the Hairworks thing that NVIDIA does. I was like, okay, we'll put that up there too. What else did I do? There's post processing and stuff like that. I just set everything at high. Let's see how we go from here. I have a 680. I have a i7. And I just decided, sure, let's see how it goes. It ran fine to begin with. It ran quite all right until it was after the tutorial, and I had come to that first section. You get on your horse with your guy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's giving you the horse controls, basically. And I went through this village real quick before you get to the bridge that starts the cutscene. I went to that village, and I wanted to get off and explore there, and I started doing that, and that's when the game cut to my desktop where I could still hear what was going on, but I could not go back to the game. I could still hear it playing, and I could still move him around,
Oh, that's strange.
but I couldn't. I could not get it to. Yeah, I know, mic in front of my face, and I still hit it. I couldn't get the game to come back up. I had to, go to the task manager and quit the game in order to do that. Fired it back up, and I thought, okay, maybe it was just that section, whatever. It put me back on the horses. I went through, started the cutscene. Griffin did the attack, and we had the conversation with the guy. Middle of the conversation, after the guy's Griffin got attacked, then it did the same thing again. Now, after that, I said, okay, let's set everything to low. So I set everything to low. I mean, everything, just all low. Everything off that needed to be off, everything low that could be set to low. And I went that route and still had the issue. So I went to forums.
No, is it at the same spot at this point?
It was yeah.
Still
It didn't let me hang around very long at all in this section.
Okay.
I got through with the conversation with the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw the water and I was like, oh, let's go run through the water. And as soon as I started doing that,
And that's still the GOG copy, right?
Hmm?
That's still the
GOG copy,
Okay.
yes, yeah. So yeah, then it did it again. So went to the forums, read up on some stuff, and basically left it alone for the rest of the night and said, okay, I'll give it some time. Maybe somebody will run into this. Apparently other people were having this issue.
good amount of
A
people.
good amount of people were having the same exact issue.
Now I will say it never crashed on me.
Yeah.
Never.
I don't think it ever crashed on James either. He may have said he did, but I don't know. I wish he was here. James is not here, but James is playing it too. It seems to be working okay for him.
Well, it's ran the best for him.
Yeah, yeah. And
Compared to
I don't know about Matt. I'm curious how it'll run for Matt going on.
I don't know.
And I'm the only one with an AMD card.
You are the only one with an AMD card, and James is the only one with a recent NVIDIA card.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running a 680, and James is running a 970. So we're curious how that's going to. I'm curious how that's going to work out for me. But I did read the forums, and somebody said to turn VSync off and set your frames to unlimited. I did that. It was stuttery, but it still cut out on me.
And those are always the first two things I do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helped at all.
Well, and going through and setting everything to low and stuff, I didn't even, I was like, VSync, sure, leave that on, whatever. I disabled one of my monitors and it ran for a good bit because I'm running dual monitors.
Okay.
So I disabled the monitor that I didn't use. I was just like, okay, we're going to single monitor this thing, unplugged it, and just ran on one monitor, and it still did the same thing. So it went a little bit longer than that, but it still did the same thing. So they released a patch, and I think NVIDIA may have released another patch. It might not have been them. It might not have been a graphics card patch. It might have been their GeForce Experience patch, their little app thing that runs. It may have been an update to that, which could still help, I guess, in detecting what game you're running as opposed to the rig that you're running it at and what you should have your settings at. So I took it. I hooked it up through HDMI to a television set and downloaded the patch, and it's working fine. I tried to get a readout of my FPS, but every time I ran fraps, it's stuck up in the corner, and because of the layout of the TV screen, it's cut off, and I can't see it. I know I could make that adjustments, but I didn't want to mess with it when we were about to do this, and this was last night when I was trying this out. So, regardless, I don't want to play it on a TV. I want to play it on my monitor, but it did work when I played it on the TV through the HDMI. So at home, I'm playing it on a monitor through the DVI port. So I don't know. I'm going to have to try it again. I'll try that on Monday and see if it works for me. But I have just not put in any time whatsoever with The Witcher. But Nate, you have.
Yes, and real quick, just to let chat know, the reason I went with AMD and not NVIDIA, because I was going to get the, I can't think of what NVIDIA card that was comparable. I have the R9, I don't know why I keep forgetting the X800X or whatever. I can't think of what it is. But anyways, I got it on sale. Compared to the other card, it was like $80, $90 difference. Because it was like a double mail-in rebate plus sale, so that was why I went with that card.
Okay.
Budget. But anyways, yes, so that game, the issues I was having at first were, like I said, I never had any crashes. It ran fine in that aspect, but yeah, R9 280X, correct. Thank you, Jimmy. And my issues were the frame rate issues. I kept on, like you did, I did everything ultra, started off, and
you did everything ultra. No, I didn't even try and touch ultra.
Oh, okay, I started all the way at ultra just to try it.
I was like, we'll start it high just to see how it goes.
That's the first thing I always do.
Well, they had a nice. First off, they've got the GeForce Experience. Again, that's an app that looks at your rig and says, okay, you've got these games installed. Here's your optimal settings. There's also NVIDIA put out a nice little grid saying, here's the cards you have. Here's what you can run with these cards. And the 600 series was nowhere to be found. And the 970s or the 760s, I think, or whatever, the generation above my 680, which is still a good card, but the generation above my 680 was still running at medium to high settings, and you didn't get into ultra settings until you jumped into the 970s. And this is just on the NVIDIA side of things. I didn't even look into AMD stuff just because I'm not there, but. I knew, I was like, there's probably no way that I can run it on ultra. It will be worth a shot once I get this thing to run once I get it to run and it can stay running, it'll be worth a shot to see what I can do on ultra or what I can tweak from ultra down. But right now, I'm just trying to get it to run myself. But to start off with, just start it high, see if that can get me through it. And obviously that couldn't, but that may be because of some other reasons. But go ahead, you started on ultra.
Yeah, so I started on ultra, and I was getting about 10 to 15 FPS at most. But it was a solid. It wasn't a stuttering, dipping below. Just
you're running yours. I'm running mine on the SSD, and you're running yours on the SSD. Yeah,
correct.
Okay.
And then I was kind of tweaking it, like you said. Then I went to high and went up like 10. Each time it went up 10, except on very low. On very low, I was getting about 55.
When you did this on Ultra, was the hair work stuff?
It was all enabled.
Okay.
Yeah. Although there's a little tweak you can do with AMD.
Right, to get
so it doesn't, because on the slider in the game, it's either for everything that has hair, just for him,
right,
or nothing.
Or nothing at all.
And with AMD, you can kind of tweak the tessellation, I believe that's how you say it, to where it's not all the way maxed. So I have it, I think all the way max is times 32, and I can set mine to like times 16, which is enough to where you can still see it, but not enough to where it's just completely,
Tessellation. I think it was tessellation and hair work. It was either hairworks. Maybe they go hand in hand.
I think the both.
Yeah, the tessellation situation is something that we saw with Tomb Raider when it got released on PC. There was people were reporting like, "Oh, great performance." Then they would turn the tessellation on.
For which card? Both.
I can't remember if this was coming from both or if this was coming mainly from the NVIDIA crowd. I want to lean towards it being the NVIDIA crowd since I guess I pay more attention to them, but I'm not sure.
It's amazing that just hair can...
They would turn on the hair, and it would kill. It would kill
like
it.
Over half.
Yeah. But they would get amazing results just turning that off.
Yeah.
And it still looked okay. The hair didn't look like it wasn't crap or anything. It still looked really good.
It just wasn't flowy.
It just didn't have whatever it was. It didn't have the tessellation. It didn't have that. So...
but yeah, so then... I was playing with... I kind of I tweaked it to I had custom settings, and I was running at about 45, solid 40, which was fine with me. It still looked pretty good. And then 2 days later is when the next patch came out, 1.3, I believe.
It released on Thursday. The game came out on Monday, and the patch came out on Thursday.
Correct, yeah. So I tweaked that for a little while, and I would say just from that patch, I went from throwing everything on Ultra, went up to 25. Almost could run it at about 30. About 25 to 27 on Ultra, completely Ultra, which is a pretty big improvement. I don't know if everyone else had that type of improvement, but I mean, it was about 10 to 12 FPS. And then it was about that for every single setting. So, like if I turned everything on low, I could get about 75 to 80.
Yeah.
And then right now I'm just running it on high, and I can get about 40 to 45. But I've never had a crash, thankfully, so at least I can play it.
That's great. That's fantastic. And you're the only one who could tell us about the game itself.
Yes. Well, I've never played the first two.
You've probably never. Yeah, this
played
is your first.
I have the first one, but never played it.
Let me tell you, you will not go back to that first one. You're playing the third one. You're never going to go back. If you do, it'll be like when I tried to play Deus Ex after I played Human Revolution, and I was.
It's hard to go back.
And they're like, you should go back and play it. And boy, I tried. I really did try. Not hard enough because it was still killing me, but I really did try, and I just couldn't. And I don't think that you will either.
Yeah.
You can try, but I don't know.
Well, it's not Steam or anything. It's the actual physical disc, so I'd have to go through all that. But anyways, yeah. So combat-wise, playing from Bloodborne, it's kind of similar to me. I don't know if anyone else has had that similar experience, but maybe some of the callers. But that's how I kind of feel the combat is. And no one else has played it, right?
No, not yet.
Okay. Were you about to say something, RJ?
No, I'm about to say not with you,
but okay. Yeah, Bloodborne. But yeah, so I've gotten up to the part where you return the you fight the Griffin and you do that whole questing reward thing and looking for Yennefer, the fancy way to say Jennifer.
Yeah,
but,
Yennefer.
Yes, Yennefer. So combat-wise, it's taken me a little while. It's kind of Did you fight anything? You said, or no? You didn't fight anything.
Just that very beginning. Like I did the combat tutorial at the beginning.
Okay.
Which really isn't fighting anything. And then I did. Before you get on the horse, you fight those ghouls right there, and that's the only fighting I've done.
Yeah.
I think I killed the deer. About it.
No, the combat, I think it's more for like a realistic aspect. The guy's not like super fluid, so sometimes his actions are a little blocky, is the way he churns and stuff. Fighting multiple things can get kind of confusing, but you get used to it.
Hallmark of the series, I would say, because it was the same way in 1.
Okay, yeah. See, I never played it, so and coming from Bloodborne, that's a lot more fluid to me. Even though with Bloodborne you kind of swing away.
So I think James is in the same boat as you, because I don't think he had them, and we had all talked about getting through 1 and 2 to get ready for 3, and I don't think he ever did. So I think he's in the same boat as you as far as never playing a Witcher game, his first experience with it.
But one thing I really have enjoyed, and next week we'll probably have some music of the game, possibly just to. But I've enjoyed the music so far. I mean, it's a little ambient thing, but one thing that's annoying me and James is the wind on the trees.
I have seen this
on the foliage.
I have
the
seen
hurricane
this.
trees?
Yeah, it's so annoying. You'll
Every now and again, I'll turn around and I'll see this tree that just looks like it's.
Well, what really got me is when I was during a cutscene, I was talking to
like
one
it just
of
was
the
used as a
kings.
catapult for some reason.
And it was just going back and forth. I was like, okay, that's almost annoying to where I'd rather just not even be moving. Like if it was just steady, it would be more realistic.
Exactly.
But yeah, I haven't gotten super far. I've had a heck of a week, really busy. But I've played up for about an hour. Just kind of getting used to it and exploring.
There's a lot to do in
now,
this game.
but see, I've done more side quests than main quests, and the side quests have been pretty interesting. Doing the quote-unquote detective work of using your Witcher senses.
Yeah.
That I've actually enjoyed doing the side quests, and I know you're all about those.
Well, going back to 1, and I can remember the conversation that we had after I'd finished 1, was that I did start out doing side quests, lots and lots and lots of side quests, and as the game kept going on and on and on, I got tired of doing side quests. I was like, okay, let's wrap this up. I'm done. I've had enough. But it still had so much to offer. So if you get tired of side quests, sure, continue on with the story, and you can always come back to the side quests. There's just so much to do in these games.
2 things. I've coming from playing MMOs and such with crafting. This game's crafting, it's a little. I've had to kind of do research outside of the game. It's just kind of confusing the way they explain everything on how to do it. Like by default, I know how all of it works, but for someone that doesn't exactly know how crafting works, I wish they kind of explained it a little better.
Yeah. I haven't heard any issues with the folks running on console. I guess everything's running fine for the console. I haven't heard any problems.
I've heard that some people had stability.
I also
the biggest issue I heard was the text size for the console.
Right. I also haven't been paying attention to what the console folks have been saying, mainly because I've been trying to track down my issue with the PC side of things. But let's go to the phones. We've got Les, who's been on hold for a bit here. Les, hey man, you're on in-game chat. You want to talk about Witcher?
Yeah. I had it pre-installed. I bought it through Steam. Okay. And did do the whole pre-install thing, and late Monday, like late Monday or something, the day 1 patch installed, and I've been playing it since.
And everything, I guess, is running fine for you, right?
Well, it didn't at first. I was having problems with the, I was having frame rate problems, and like especially in the in-game cutscenes when you're just sitting down talking to somebody about something. There was like a severe drop in frame rate, and you could tell because someone would say something and their lips would move like 10 seconds later, and so
sync issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just, at first I thought it was maybe I just had everything set up too high. But it turns out I have an AMD graphics card.
Okay, see, that was going to be my next question. I don't want to get into like troubleshooting your situation here, but I'm curious as to what your rig specs are.
I have a high-end in the 7000 series AMD card.
Okay.
I actually, it's been a couple of years. I cannot remember. I cannot tell you exactly which one.
Okay.
But what to resolve my issue, NVIDIA has this hair physics thing in the game.
Yeah, we were just talking about the tessellation, the hair works, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you turn that off, once I turned that off, everything worked fine.
Yep. That's what a lot of people have run into who can get the game to run but not really run it as good as their machine should be getting it to run. I mean, people are very familiar with the specs of their system, and they pretty much know, I know that I can run it at this, with these settings enabled, and I'll get this much frame rate, whatever the case may be. And they just weren't getting that. I mean, these are people who are running with Titans, man. Right. Titans or SLI Titans were having issues, and it all came back to that the tessellation, the hairworks situation.
Yeah.
So if you didn't, so if you turn it off and you got the better improvement, then I think that's exactly what was supposed to happen.
Yeah. But yeah, I turned it off, and I've been running it on Ultra ever since with no issues.
What's your frame rate at Ultra?
60.
60. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, so other than performance, how you like the game?
I've been really liking it. I just finished the noob area where you're running around hunting the griffin, and there's an interlude where you go to Basima, and there's a bunch of story stuff, and then you go into the next big area, which is like it's like 10 times bigger than the noob area you start out in.
Mm-hmm. This game is big.
Yeah, and there's I wanted to go to there's this city in the next area, and I got tired of looking at little villages, so I decided to try to go to the city. You
wanted a big place, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
I wanted to go to the city, and there's these guards. There's a bridge. The only way to get across is this bridge, and there's this guard standing up. We're not letting anyone in without a pass, and I'm like, what the? And so what I do is I jump in the water, and I just swim across. And there's all these guards yelling, like, shoot him, and they're like shooting arrows and stuff at me, trying to keep me from crossing. And I eventually cross the river and actually get to the city, even though I'm not supposed to.
Well, I don't know. This may have been in every Witcher game, but I know in the first Witcher game there was a nice little stronghold. I say it's a stronghold. It's not really. It's sort of a city behind walls, obviously. It's a walled city, and to get to it, you had to cross a bridge, and there were 2 guards there, and you couldn't get in without a pass.
Yeah.
I think it's a common detail in
way
games
of,
like this.
slowing progression, I guess. Or...
Well, I mean, it didn't really slow progression. What I did was I didn't talk to everybody before I got to that bridge, and there was somebody else I could have talked to who was like, oh, you can get a pass from such and such person. Basically, what it did was talking to them and them saying, hey, you need to get in with a pass, added a dialogue choice for me to
go back
to talk to other people about and say, hey, do you know anything about a pass? And then go from there. So yes, it does extend the game because I'd have never had that option.
You would have just kept on going.
Well, because this is early on in the first game. We are not talking about Witcher 3 right now. This is early on in the first Witcher game where I was doing everything. I was talking to everybody, and I was doing every little side quest that came up. And I didn't want to move on until I had finished up what I could do in that section.
Yeah.
And so I thought I had done everything I could in that section and went and talked to them. Nope, not without a pass. I wandered around for a very long time until I talked to somebody because I was like, I've already talked to them. They're not going to give me any new information. And lo and behold, boom, I could ask them about the pass. And they would tell me, well, go talk to so-and-so. And then that opened up a nice little quest. And I was able to get a pass and then get into the city. So that might be the same thing that they're doing here. I don't know, but I'm glad you're enjoying the game. I'm glad it's running pretty well for you on the AMD side of things. So, and we appreciate you calling. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, have a good one. We'll talk to you later.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye. If you would like to get your calls in, you can, 334-272-9228. We're going to go to a break here. We've got, I believe Chris is on the line. Chris, stay on the line. We will get to you when we come back from our commercial break here. And we're going to give away a copy of The Witcher 3 right now. So, all you have to do is download our app and then break these little bricks off. And when you get to the center, then you'll get it. No. All you have to do is guess a number. You have to be in the chat room to do this.
A.
You're right. Guess a number between 0 and 10.
Wouldn't it be 0 and 9?
Huh?
0 and 9?
No, 0 and 10.
All right.
Why would it be 0 and 9?
Because there's more than 9 people in the chat room. Should do 100.
We'll be here all day.
If they have to guess one number?
Yeah. 0 and 0
Let's
and
figure
10.
this out during break.
Yeah.
We're so prepared for radiation.
We've already got a winner.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we already have a winner.
What was the number?
The number was 9, and Zufu got it. So, congratulations.
Because I said 9.
Probably.
You're welcome, Zoo.
No, this was a number. It's a number that is in the code. for the game. That's why I decided to use that number. So
I figured it'd be a number in the code, but you wouldn't have a 10 as a number. It'd be either a 0 or through 9.
I threw it out there for no reason, man.
Okay.
Question everything. Jesus. I'm going to turn your mic off. Hey.
Hey, wait.
Yeah, there you go. Now his mic's off. Okay.
Oh, come on.
We'll be back with more of in-game chat in just a minute. Here is music from Panzer Dragoon. We'll be right back. And welcome back to in-game chat. Music from Bayonetta. Is this from like the arcade version of Bayonetta?
Well, they put some they got some references to old Sega classics in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, it feels like
Unfortunately,
16-bit.
that version of Space Harrier, that's the music that the game is from. It was the best version I have of it is from Bayonetta. So
Really?
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Space Harrier was playable in Shenmue. When you go to the arcade?
It was I think it was Space Harrier
and
Hang On.
Hang On, yeah.
I think Hang On was in there too. Maybe Afterburner. I'm not sure. I have to go back and see, but I think those 3 classics were in there.
I know at least those 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to play that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, play one game just to play another, you know.
I think there was something like that in Prey. I think you could play some arcade games in Prey. I can't remember.
Before you get abducted, that sounds familiar.
I want to say that. I want to say in the bar you could play something. It may have been their only games. It may have been their own games.
But still, it
was some other type of arcade game that you could play. But I can't remember what they were. But anyway, welcome back to the show. We are going to go to the phone lines now. Chris has been waiting extremely patiently, so thank you so much, Chris. You are on the air. Oop, no, you're not. There you go. Chris, you're on the air, buddy. What's up?
Well, I've been playing The Witcher 3 on PlayStation 4, and I absolutely love it.
Working okay for you, no problems there, huh?
Yeah, so it seems like there's just issues going on with the PC from what I've heard, but
yeah.
hopefully that will be resolved soon, and then y'all can jump into it and have a blast like I have.
Well, I'm the only one out of the group that's had the issue. James and Nate have both been playing fine with theirs, but I'm the only one who has had the problem. I was very tempted until I heard about the patch, and then I was still tempted if the patch didn't work. And I don't know yet that it's worked on my monitors at the house. I know that I can play it on a TV, but I don't know about my monitors through the DVI port. But anyway, I was very tempted to go to GameFly and be like, here, give me Witcher 3. Shoot me Witcher 3 so I can play this thing. But I really want it to work on my PC. I really want it to work on the PC. But so I'm glad you're enjoying it on the PS4 then. Hey, I'm surprised that you're not over at Retro Game Planet. Aren't they doing a tournament today?
I've been having too much fun playing this.
Okay.
Okay.
As far as I know, they were doing it, and I do not know exactly the time, but it is sometime around now. It may be coming up in the next hour, actually. They're doing a Mario Kart tournament today at Retro Game Planet. So if you're interested and you're in the area, head down to Prattville and visit Retro Game Planet and participate in the tournament. So have you played anything else other than Witcher? Is that all you've That's all
Well,
you can get your
since
hands
it
on?
come out, I've spent probably a good, possibly 20 hours or more into it, and I've got past the first main area, you know, the tutorial where until you get into the bigger areas, and I really haven't done that many of the main quests, and
Just doing side quests?
just doing side quests, exploring, having fun, and from what I've read in the strategy guide, you can get a maximum of 70 levels in the experience portion of it, and I'm only level 10.
Well, I don't doubt it. This game, there's a ton to do in this game. The question obviously is any of it fun to do? And you know, that's going to vary from person to person if they're enjoying what they're doing. If the side quests are just too boring for them and they just want to stick to the main quest, that sort of thing. But so far, everything we've heard, it's been going pretty good for those who have been able to play it. They've enjoyed it. So, and I'm glad you're enjoying it as well, man.
Yep. I also noticed that it's actually got nudity and sex scenes in it as well. You know, and it's full blown. No, you know, it was showing it just like it's adult rated for sure, and it earns it.
It's got a mature rating, and that would be
For reasons.
why.
Yes.
So, well, I'm glad you're enjoying the game and all that it has to offer, quests and otherwise. So, but we appreciate you calling, man. Thanks so much.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Go to the next line here. Zufu, you are on in-game chat. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hey.
And congratulations on your win.
All right, thanks again for having it, and thanks again, Matt, for the subliminal message.
He didn't.
I didn't know.
To tell you the truth, he did not know.
No.
He didn't know what I was looking for
Didn't he?
in
Didn't
that.
he?
No,
No.
he didn't. He did not know. Although
Just
not
be-
that it mattered because you seem to cover the bases with all the numbers, that were
Including
thrown out there.
24.
Hashtag no shame. Yes, none at all. I just wanted to actually ask you guys about Project Cars. It's one of the rare
Project
Kickstarter
what?
games that Project Cars that came out.
Oh, Project
recently.
Cars. Yeah. What about that?
It's one of the rare instances where a Kickstarter game actually came off successful. I'm looking at Metacritic and all of the ratings, and it's gotten pretty high praise. And it's one of the rare games that actually delivered. If not, even though it was delayed, I think it actually delivered on the promise that they were trying to offer the people who were willing to sponsor it.
I'll tell you, I really haven't heard anything negative about that. I know that there was the driving genre really hasn't been doing too well in the past couple of years, really. I mean, the launch of the PS4, you said you've had Need for Speed Rivals, I think?
Yeah.
Or was that Need for Speed Ghosts? I can't remember. Ghost is the name of the company that developed the Need for Speed game. The launch game for PS4 and Xbox One was a Need for Speed title.
The last Need for
No
Speed I played
Limits?
was Underground 2.
Right. And so there was that, and then there was all this promise of Drive Club, which didn't necessarily work out. I think Forza Horizon 2 actually did pretty good, but I know Project Cars just had this ambition behind it. And there was some concern as to whether they could live up to that ambition and to live up to that promise that they were throwing out there with the Kickstarter. But it sounds like they have. So you've been enjoying it?
Yeah, I mean, there have been some complaints. Then you have the super, sim guys who are, anything has to be, anything less than, let's say, some PC, I think Live for Speed is one of them. They're really sim-based, and, they have a really high standard. They're saying Project Cars doesn't meet that, but I think you have to kind of balance it between, sim and arcade, especially for a game that's going to be on the consoles, where everyone's not going to buy a racing wheel to play it. So, but I think those are the only people who are really complaining that it's not simmy enough. But I don't really know if that's a valid complaint for the general population, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of sim racers. I like my
arcade.
I like my arcade racers, and even at then, I am such a snob for Burnout that that I can even look at the arcade racers and have something to say about them.
I think the last fun arcade racer I played was the Driver San Francisco.
Well, if we're talking about an actual in the arcade racer, yeah, for me it would be Driver 20. Was it 2049 or something?
No, not that. No, this is the on the PC.
Oh, the
Driver series.
The Driver series,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Wasn't there what was that I was thinking about?
Like San Francisco Rush.
San Francisco Rush is what I was thinking about. That's what I was thinking about. San Francisco Rush. That was
slightly different.
Yeah, it is.
But fun.
But still fun. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about. Driver San Francisco was the last one that you enjoyed. Me? Oh God. I'm Burnout Snob. I have to go back to Paradise. And I'm enjoying Burnout Revenge playing it on the 360 again.
Yeah.
So I still have to go back to them as far as my favorite drivers. And the last one that I played that I really enjoyed would have to be a Burnout. What about you, Zufu? What was the last one you played? I mean, you're enjoying Project Cars, but before that, what was your go-to arcade racer or sim racer?
I think for me, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit was the last real one that I played, but I'm still waiting for that Need for Speed Underground 3 that everyone's been asking for, like, for the last 10 years.
Yes.
And I think that new trailer is kind of hinting at they're kind of going back to that old model of, street racing and running from the cops instead of trying to have you go across the U.S. and all of this story-based nonsense.
Now, so you prefer sims or you prefer arcades as far as the racers are concerned?
It depends. For me, if I have a racing wheel, I can actually set it up, but it's a hassle connecting because I don't have a dedicated seat and setup where a lot of people can put like $1,000 into it. So I have to set up my racing wheel, and it's a bit of a hassle, so I don't play Sims as much.
Mm-hmm.
But when I have to choose between the two, I prefer Sim because it's the closest thing to real driving. But
so then, what about Gran Turismo?
GTA, I never actually played it. I don't have a PlayStation, so
okay.
I've heard of it, but I haven't really got it.
Oh, I don't know. You think Sims, you go to that, and they're usually the kings of it. And I was just curious if you had ever experienced those to compare that to what you're playing with Project Cars or any of the other racers that you've enjoyed as well. So, well, good. I guess. What kind of PC do you have? You got something that can run Witcher?
Yeah, I do. I have I think it's a 760, a GTX 760, and an i5, 16 gigs of RAM. So I think I should be okay. I'm not sure about the hair physics, but I don't know if that's.
I just wouldn't even mess with those, man. I just would. The hair, honestly, the hair looks fine
without the tessellation.
You tell us, Nathan. You've messed with it a little bit though. You set it to where you set your hair physics on Witcher 3 to what?
Times 8.
Which that affects everybody, right? Affects everything.
Yeah, it's still on, but what happens is it just reduces the amount of basically hair on. Like, because if you reduce it to times 2, it's pretty funny. There's a picture. Do you remember the old storybook of the scary story guy where the guy was dead and had like the strands of hair?
Scary Stories Still in the Dark. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like him.
Okay.
Your guy has like 3 pieces of hair. It's like engraved. It just looks horrible. But so you can adjust that, and so it's got enough to where you can't tell he's missing hair, but enough to where it's still all in there.
Yeah, I was curious as to what that looks like on Ultra. Does everybody look like a?
It looks. You can't even tell on humans, honestly. When you're playing,
I couldn't.
You can't.
Like when I clicked on the main character, when I was turning it off and on between there, at first I just thought it wasn't having any effect.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently that's the case. It's very hard to tell.
The best way to tell is to go into the woods and fight the bear.
Right, that's what I figured.
He's got a bunch of hair. So.
Okay.
The bear's got hair.
The bear.
Okay. Well,
that'll be like the new benchmark, like the bear scene.
Yeah, something like that. Possibly.
Go to the woods and fight the bear.
If hair ever becomes a standard by which you measure how well your machine, which I guess that's where we're going, considering that's the one giving everybody a problem.
Yeah. They'll let EA know.
Ugh, jeez.
Hair DLC.
That, or they'll come up with. Remember what they came up with? It was either at last year's E3 or the year before that, where everybody had
a name,
a term. There was the Drivatar, and then there was something that they did with Battlefield, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was some way to level up, and they called it some.
Well, no, it was the destruction.
What was the destruction?
Levolution or something.
Yeah,
the Levolution.
Levolution was what it was called. Oh my God, they just had some stupid name
for everything
that they sat in a board meeting
and their
PR
said, people were so excited.
Oh, they were loving that stuff.
Evolution.
It was one of those like
we're gonna put a trademark on that. We're gonna sell it because it is gonna catch on like fire.
And the soccer had one.
Soccer had one too.
Yeah,
I like portmanteaus as much as the next guy that likes them. But at the same time, you just gotta be like, really, people?
Evolution.
Drivatar.
Those stuck, didn't they? We're like a year or maybe 2 years ahead.
Stuck with us.
And they stuck, didn't they? No, I'm being sarcastic. They didn't stick at all. I remember them because they were so stupid. But I never used them. Other than now, when we're trying to reference that stuff, God, it was so stupid. Anyway, you just think these people, the PR sat in a room, and like, guys,
I want to see what the
got to
outtakes
come
were.
up
Hours.
with a name. I would love to hear what the other names were.
Yeah, to come up with the outtakes for it, like, oh, really, Clyde, that's not good enough. You need to step up your game.
A levelation in
How many
leveling
people
up.
were fired over these names?
I don't know that they were fired. It's just, well, they could have come up with some really.
It was interns, probably, actually.
Probably. I still would love if you've got a great name for something. If
Hair
you've got
evolution.
a stupid name for something about hair, you should hair
evolution.
Hair evolution, yes. You should let us know because I think that would be great. Zufu, thanks so much for calling, man.
We could sell it
All
to
right, thanks,
EA.
guys, as always. Appreciate it.
It. I will email you later tonight and give you that code. You've got to redeem it on GOG. So you will not get a Steam code, but you got to redeem it on GOG. Which, by the way, GOG Galaxy is working fine for me. That was interesting to use. But thanks again for calling, man.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Will we come up with something else?
Tress effects.
That's almost a good description of exactly what it is. Oh, well, Tress. I was thinking Tess. It's tessellation, right?
Yeah, no, but the tress with the hair and the shampoo. It's a brand of.
Not
No,
familiar.
I would have known that.
I'm not familiar with
Apparently, y'all don't spend enough time in salons or something.
that. No, I don't, and it shows. So, yeah.
I mean,
I just remember those old commercials.
Yeah. Tressellation.
Yeah.
I suppose if it's a shampoo, that makes sense now.
I know Dove.
This is great
Simply
video
what I
game
know.
radio, isn't it?
Sure, why not? Whatever. Look what the video game industry
Yeah.
came up with.
And they're getting paid.
Yeah.
Levolutions and Drivatars. I cannot say Drivatar without making it sound like it's a stupid. Well, it's a stupid.
Well, it is a stupid name.
Anyway, before we go to a break here, just an update. I loved City Skylines. I don't know who else here had jumped
I
into
played
that.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Did it undergo a evolution?
It did. It went in. It got tunnel vision. Haha! They added tunnels. So,
We need the tidum.
he's probably got it here on this thing, but I don't know. It did. This is their big free update. This is their first gigantic update to the game that they have done, and it's they added tunnels along with a bunch of other layouts for how buildings look. They changed the way buildings look. You can set a European variant on them, so you get all European buildings built in your city.
That's neat.
They did a lot, but when a game like this updates that has mods available, some mods need to go back to the drawing board and kind of fix them so that they can run with the new update.
So you're saying you can make it look like a Paris city? Like a more...
It has the European style buildings, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Amsterdam, stuff like that. Yeah, it has
Okay.
it has things like that now that has that is now in the game. I have not played it since this update, but
Didn't they
I've
have
just seen the updates.
monuments like the Eiffel Tower that you could have gotten as like pre-order?
I want to say they did. Yes, I believe that they did. But they have not. See, here's the thing though. They've added a workshop, or since they've got Steam Workshop, people are building these monuments.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily. That was a nice addition to have, and I really thought that. Ooh, I really want that, even though the code that they gave me did not give me any of that. Also, by the way, Zufu, when you get your code for Witcher 3, you need to tell me if it's like an Uber edition or if it's just the regular game itself. I don't think they had these things spec'd
Back
out at the
then.
time. They were just like, here's a free copy of the game. So that'll be interesting to note what he gets out of this. Probably just.
Or if it works at all.
That'll be the other question that he'll need to worry about. So, but anyway, City Skylines, they added tunnels. It's a free update. If you do have City Skylines and you haven't been playing for a while, I haven't. Might be good to go back and start a new city and check out the tunnels, and also check out the Steam Workshop for it, because there is a ton of user-created content that is amazing with what they can do for the game itself, and for UI changes and all sorts of different things that can just make that game a first-person mode, helicopter mode, where they've added helicopters in the game.
Did they ever make one to get rid of the tweeting bird?
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
God, yeah. That was like one of the
That's
first.
like the
I
first-
figured, but I never saw it.
Yeah, that was
after.
one of the first things that they could do.
Thank goodness.
That they added was to kill.
I didn't even own the game, and I was
I think he's
annoyed.
called like Chirpy or something, but to kill him.
Annoying.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I
Yeah.
watched like 30 minutes of it, and I was like, "Can you turn
Ding.
that off?"
Ding, ding. The cool thing about that I didn't know was that you can click on those tweets, and because it tells you who
Yeah.
it's like their version of Twitter, but for all the citizens that are in your simulated city.
And it's a tooltip, right?
Yeah, it would also give you some tooltips and stuff, but it was kind of so people complain like, oh, it really is polluted here. We need to get this fixed. Something you would know that hey, citizens need this, and sometimes they would just praise you like, oh, the mayor's great, the lower taxes, or I don't really like the way this bagel tastes. It could be something completely random, but every name was a citizen in your city. You could click on that name and boom, it would take you exactly to that person. And so from there...
You could change their name.
Well, you could change their name. It doesn't matter. But from there, you could find out where they live. You could find out what their job is.
Kind of creepy.
You could, you could demolish their house.
Jeez, that went dark quickly.
Yeah.
I'll teach you to tweet.
That's how the government works.
I didn't even know that. But it was kind of not really an incentive to leave it up there, but it was really cool to get a complaint from somebody, click on it, find out where they live.
Well, if you just turn the ding off.
I think you can do that too.
That's all I would have wanted it.
There's so many mods on the workshop.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
So many mods for this game on the workshop that you can do a ton of stuff. Somebody was working on money bins for a Duckburg. So
that was a while ago too.
That was, and they're probably even further along than that. I have not checked it out. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have more of in-game chat. If you would like to get in on this, please do. Give us a call. 334-272-9228 is the phone number. We'll be back with more of in-game chat in just a moment. Here is music from Phantasy Star Universe. Welcome back to In-Game Chats. Music from Saints Row the Third. You're all wrong. You said 3, but it's not even 3. It's the third. It did Saints Row, then Saints Row 2, Saints Row the Third, and then Saints Row 4. It didn't even do the 4th. It was just 4.
Yeah, they could still do the number 3.
Huh?
They could still do number 3, not the 3rd.
Yeah, they could go back and do Saints Row. Knowing them, they probably would do something like that. We never had a 3. We just had a 3rd. Anyway, welcome back to In-Game Chat. If you would like to get in on the discussion, you can give us a call. 334-272-9228 is the number. Don't forget, we're streaming the show on Twitch. If you head over to twitch.tv, search for In-Game Chat, you will find us. You can watch the show and listen to the show and interact with the show in the chat room. And we're also on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're all over the place. And we'd like you to join us there. And our Patreon as well. Patreon.com/in-game chat. If you would like to throw some money the show's way, we would appreciate it. If you're unsure what Patreon is, just head over there. It'll tell you all about what that is and, you know, what we'll do with the donation. So,
and if that doesn't help you, you can donate and then we'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Give us everything you've got. Oh, so we were talking during the break. And by the way, great reply, Uncle Elias, in the chat room. That was fantastic. Here's the ring. Take it to Mordor. That was a good one. Nobody knows what we're talking about who's not in Twitch. But it's all the more reason to go to Twitch and get into the chat room, because that was great. What games have you cheated in.
As far as cheating, like
Like what do you
Say
mean?
multiplayer.
Oh,
Like what would you?
like in multiplayer?
Oh God,
Not
I've
really.
never cheated in
No.
multiplayer.
Happily
But like
cheated in.
I've entered in like the old id KFA and Doom and the like. That sort
Oh
of
yeah.
thing. Just playing through that on God mode. That's always fun.
Right.
After you beat a game, just yeah.
Let's go into more recent times. Because yes, we always cheat.
Not anything really recently.
Well, you can't. There's very little ways you can cheat
No,
recently.
you don't
Yeah.
have Game Genies or Game Sharks really these days.
Or
No.
trainers, or
And a lot of them took out codes, with the
Yeah.
exception, I think GTA still uses them just
do.
for screwing things up.
yeah.
But
Most of the times, if you do that, then you aren't allowed to get achievements
Mhm.
or even save in some instances.
Or another way to approach it, what's your most memorable cheats, whether it be cheating in a game.
oh
or
well, my
cheat
most
code,
memorable
or-
goes to my most memorable goes back to having a Game Genie, and it was for. I want to say it was a game. Maybe it wasn't a Game Genie. It was for Driver, the very first Driver that was on PlayStation.
It might have been a Game Shark then.
Might have been Game Shark, yeah, not Game
The one that
Genie.
plugs into the back of
Right,
the
yeah,
old
yeah,
PlayStation.
yeah. It
Yeah,
was
I
Game
remember
Shark.
that.
It was Game Shark. That's what it was. Mine was Game Shark. It was for Driver, and the only reason I used it was because it could lower the gravity in the world, and so my jumps would be a lot more epic. And car physics would just be. You'd run into a police car in your car, and it would just fly off the screen. It was fantastic, and so I did that, and then I would go back with my film editor, and I would make a nice little cut of everything that happened on my little run there. And that was the best. I loved that. And so as far as cheating goes, it was Game Shark, PSX, and Driver.
Now,
for me.
would you consider like some mods cheats?
Well, if they helped you with the game,
Yeah, because like in Just Cause 2, I have like the flying mod, the
Right.
unlimited ammo mod.
and
In a way,
that
that's
would work.
kind of cheating.
Well, it is, but you're only, again, that goes to me, is that you're only doing it to play a part of the game, not actually get through the entire game. You could use it to do that, I suppose.
Yeah.
But we never did that. That's not what we did it for Just Cause 2. We did it just to
For fun.
play around with it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing with Driver as well. To get through an entire game, to actually use the cheat to get through a game, that's got to go back a good ways for me.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah,
the
same
Game Shark for my Game Boy Advance. Like you put the little cartridge in, and then the game went inside that,
Mhm.
Yep,
and you
that's
could
how a lot of
alter it and everything.
those and all the old Game Genies on like the
Mhm.
NES and Super Nintendo.
I never had a genie though. I never had.
I had a Game Genie.
I think for cheating to get through a game, just because I wanted to just play, like the story wise, the last one I could really remember was the original Max Payne. I found a trainer that gave you unlimited bullet time and God mode, and that way I just played through that just to get this enjoy the story.
I think I did that, but that was only because I was looking at mods, because
hmm
Max Payne, and James can attest to this, was the reason I built my very first computer.
I think that's the one that I
First
bought
Max
from you.
Payne.
It might have been, yeah. This was back in 2003.
I had
And-
a demo of that.
Yeah, it was back in 2003, and James picked out all my parts. I'd never done anything like this before. I'd never built a machine. I'd never built a PC. And so I remember we were downstairs in this building, but downstairs in the other studio, because I had an afternoon gig on that station, and he came by. I can't remember for what reason, what we were doing or whatever. He was just hanging out with me in the studio. I promise you, we weren't listening to the music. We were sitting there talking games and stuff. But he was there, and I had the computer pulled up, and I had my Newegg list, and he was going through and was like, "Okay, that's good. You probably want to get this. You go ahead, go with that. That card's good." I think he and I have pretty much had the same cards for a very long time now, with the exception of just recently when I split off and did my NVIDIA stuff, and he stuck with AMD, and now he's back to Team Green with the NVIDIA 970, and so. Yeah, he built that machine. And I built it specifically because I wanted to play Max Payne, and I wanted to download all their Matrix mods and everything else that they had for it, so you could do all this flippy stuff. And yeah, I remember that. I remember that very, very well. And I got to play. That opened up a new world for me getting that PC, because then the games that came out at that time were Call of Duty, the first one, Tron 2.0,
That's a good one.
Halo on PC. developed by Gearbox, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And what else was I playing on there? Oh, Roller Coaster Tycoon. Was all over that. So, yeah.
One of the cheats that really, a cheat code that sticks out in my mind that just I love to this day, and it was in Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast. It was the realistic lightsaber. You had to actually go into the dev code. I mean, go in the code and insert the saber realistic combat 1 or whatever, and basically it turned your lightsaber into what an actual lightsaber would do. As much as I like the old Jedi Knight games, once you got the lightsaber, you'd swing it around, and stormtroopers would grunt a little bit, and it takes a couple swings. That's not what a real lightsaber. Well, I say real, but in the universe, that's not what a lightsaber would do in that situation. One swing and they'd be in half. And this cheat code actually allowed you to do that, where it allowed you to dismember people and just instantly.
Well, yeah.
And
it turned the lightsaber into a real effect.
The fact that it was a cheat, in a way, code you had to enter was just like, man, if they would have had that from the beginning, that would have been. I enjoyed it. You just throw more enemies at me.
They still don't do that, do they?
They don't.
Yeah.
All the way up until what?
Like Force Unleashed didn't even have it.
Yeah. It takes several swings to hurt people, and
imagine if they made like a GTA Star Wars.
Well, really, where you saw it come into effect was
1313 would have been, in my opinion,
where you saw something like that come into effect. It was not in the Star Wars universe in a sense, but Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Okay, when you're slicing and dicing.
When you could do all that, it was a nice effect.
Yeah.
From the little bit that I played of the game.
But if they would have done something like that in the Jedi, Outcast, where the saber was realistic, to the universe, where it would just go through people, but just give me more people to go through. That's where they could up the challenge.
I cheated on the first God of War. Because I can't remember if I just didn't care to go through the annoyances of maybe what I would have with that. But whatever, I put in a God mode for that and played right through it. I did not do that for. Did I do it for 2? I think I did it for 1 and 2, and I didn't do it for 3, or maybe I didn't do it for 2 either. I can't remember. I remember going into 1 that didn't have any kind of cheat codes for it, and I thought, oh god, this is going to be horrible. I'm not going to be able to finish this because I breezed my way through the first one and didn't care what I was doing. And I got through it, and I was like, oh, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
So
I did a little trainer for Borderlands 2, where it gave me unlimited gold keys, and I could select the level that I wanted to be, and my stats. So I just bumped up all my stats.
Cheats in that.
It was a little you had to modify the INI and stuff like that. But then give myself 9,999 gold keys. So every time I'd level up, I'd go and unlock and get the better loot.
I think one of the ones a lot of people probably hear, System Shock 2. Turn off having to repair your weapons every 5 seconds.
Yes.
That was bad.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I know it's System Shock.
There was weapon degradation.
The degradation in that was just.
You could get your skills up to a point where it wasn't an issue, but early on in the game, it was.
Weapigration.
Yeah.
There's a good term. Good job. Weapigration.
Let's just make the world a worse place. With
2 shots and your gun would break.
Zufu said he cheated in Talos Principle.
Huh.
I mean, I knew you could do that, but I would never do that.
Could you?
You can turn developers. I don't think he said.
I didn't know that. At the time, I was playing pre-release code
That's true.
of that.
You beat it before it was even out.
Yeah. So I didn't have that luxury. I did have the luxury of just emailing the dev and being like, I'm really having a problem here, and they never. I gave him updates every time I would play that game. I would send him an email afterwards and say, hey, I just got through with this part. Great job on telling me where to go on here, on how to do this and that sort of thing. I'm stuck right now at this one. I think I know the answer, but whatever. And he would write back with something cryptic like, don't forget that all your options are not necessarily related to a certain way. He would send me some kind of clue, not that wouldn't shed light on the situation, but just say, look at it from a different perspective.
There's a website for puzzle games, and there's one for Talos as well that I've seen that everyone on there that submits helps. It's always no matter what,
It's not a solution.
You're not allowed. You'll get banned immediately.
Okay.
The post. So people, there's tons of forums on how to get through the whole game, but nothing will ever just directly tell you.
Just give you the actual.
It's really
that's fantastic.
It's a really cool
I like
website.
that.
Yeah, and
that was something else.
They'll tell you, in that general area of an idea what you do. But
that was
really
something
nice.
else because Talos Principle did ramp up the difficulty as you went along, but I was still able somehow to, you take time to look at a problem that Talos would give you, and while the problem is you would play for a while and you get set in your ways as to how puzzles would work, and then they would throw something completely new and you'd feel completely lost. You'd take a while away from it, come back to it, and it would open up the door again because you would be able to think with portals, not necessarily in that sense, but yeah, okay, let's think with this involved into the.
Did you ever finish the room, by the way? The room 2?
No. I got E3 trip coming up. I'll play it on the plane. Okay. I like to savor those things, and I'll have something to play. So no, I did not
finish it.
No, I'm getting close.
You'll get right to the end, or you just gotta hit the button or something. And
my PAX Media badge got approved, so I've got my flight to Seattle and my flight to LA coming up. So I'll have it there. Hopefully, Room 3 will hit.
That'd be nice.
At some point, I know that they're working on the third game, so I don't know how it's going or how far they are, but yeah, I do enjoy puzzle games. Talos Principle is one that I was very nervous about not being able to complete because there are parts of the environment puzzles he could easily tell me how to do those. It was those Tetris puzzles that there was really no way he could give me a solution unless he sent me a screenshot. That was the only way I could figure it out if he sent me a screenshot of the puzzle completed. But he never did. It's not something you could tell somebody how to solve those particular problems.
Did you ever collect all the stars?
God, no.
Okay.
That is something that I will probably need a cheat sheet for.
Yeah.
Those
just
stars.
The demo.
Oh my God.
Just that demo, I couldn't even figure out the one.
Yeah, there's a lot, and then once you get the stars open, you've still got that extra. You've got an extra level in each one once you collect all the stars.
So you technically have not finished.
Oh God, I've not 100%ed that at all.
Okay.
No way. I finished the main game, but everything 100%? Nope, sure haven't.
You probably have another 10 hours.
I think about going into it, and then I think of what a headache it's going to... Because I remember those star puzzles, man. I was like, I can't bend my brain around how to get to that area.
For 20. If it hits 20, I'll probably get it. It hasn't gotten that low yet.
We should have a Steam sale coming up in
about
a month and a half. Maybe.
Oh, the summer sale?
Yeah, the summer sale should be coming up. I don't know if it'll go on sale or not. But if it does, look at it and make your mind up if you want to get it then. However, if Axiom Verge goes on sale, buy it. You should buy it now without a sale. That game is... I know you're busy with Witcher, but I'm just... Anybody who is into...
I've never played Metroid games before, so...
Well, this would be a great one for you to start out with.
Or you can play Metroid games.
You got a Sega emulator. Go get you a NES emulator or a SNES emulator.
Yeah, Z-SNES.
I have them. I think I have Metroid. I've just never played.
Yeah, because apparently Super Metroid still holds up. They're like,
Metroid
Metroid
play the Symphony of the Night or anything like that? Okay.
Oh man.
Did you have an Xbox 360?
Yes.
Did you play? There was an Xbox arcade game from Shadow Complex.
Oh, Shadow Complex. That was a good one.
It was an Xbox arcade title, Shadow Complex. Did you ever play that?
Real good.
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I ever played it.
That was very much in the same. Did you play Strider on the PS4?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Very much a.
That was a PS Plus game.
Am I correct in saying Strider? It's a very.
I don't know. I did not play the new Strider.
Metroid-vania type.
Yeah, side-scrolling action, difficult adventure. Yeah, that type. Yeah.
Power-ups give you access to other areas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah, Strider, you've played something like it, but Axiom Verge really hones in on that Metroid style, and I'm talking down to the music. It's just fantastic.
I did watch someone. It was a playthrough or let's play or. What are the ones where you're trying to speed running?
Speed runs, yeah.
The guy did a speed run playing 1 and 2 Metroid at the same time. So while he was playing 1...
Wait, was that Mega Man?
No.
Okay, because that was recently somebody did a Mega Man...
No,
two different Mega Man games playing them at the same time.
Yeah, so with Metroid, what he would do is at certain parts, he would run character... And the controller controlled both at the same time. So you'd have to... make sure one character was stuck on a wall while you were controlling the other one, jumping, fighting the boss, and then you could go back and then start playing the other one. and he did it. He beat both of them in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It was.
There's
amazing.
a game I never beat. I never beat Metroid.
The original?
Hmm.
Oh man.
I never beat it. Had the Justin Bailey code,
Yeah.
obviously, but I never actually beat it.
I've beat the first 3. I didn't beat Prime.
I've never beaten a Metroid game.
Let's see.
Now that I think about it.
Beaten 1, I beat Super, beat Fusion.
Okay, yeah, beat
And,
Fusion. What about 2?
I did not play 2 at all.
Oh, really?
I did not have a Game Boy back then.
Okay. They have it on
Yeah, they have it out and around, but it's kind of like, do I want to go back to that and try that? Or
It's fun for a little handheld.
Let's see. I beat Prime 2 and Prime 3. I did not beat the original Prime. Those were good.
Yeah, I realize Uncle Elias's YouTube is the best cheat code. It is, but YouTube
It can
doesn't.
vary from time to time. When you have somebody who's like a 30-minute commentary, it's like, I need just to see where this one thing is.
Well, I remember watching you playing Devil May Cry, and you did a much better job at that end boss fight in Devil May Cry than I did when I did it. But you had already beaten it before.
Yeah, I'd already beaten 4, and I was trying to remember exactly how to do it, because there was one point where you had to like grapple across to another building,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I could not remember doing that originally.
I mean, YouTube can help you in some senses, but it can't help you in a sense of getting through a difficult area that requires you to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, YouTube will never make me a better arcade fighter or a better Mortal Kombat player.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. You can kind of, if you see how it, like somebody who knows what they're doing does, you can kind of learn from that. But when it's something that depends on your reactions, like a fighting game,
Yeah.
That's not something that's going to translate one-to-one
Right.
from YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. I remember getting help from the strategy guide in Burnout Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I used them for was, well, the maps helped, but the only thing I used them for was the burning laps, which are the time trial.
Mm-hmm.
Get from point A to point B and do it in a certain amount of time. They would tell you that, because Burnout does not have a speedometer, so you don't know how fast you're going, but they would tell you that if you've gotten past this point on the course and your timer is still whatever, you're good. But if your timer is down to 19 seconds and you haven't crossed this landmark,
You're not going to make it.
you're just start over.
Yeah.
So that was very helpful in me figuring that out. Not necessarily a cheat. We kind of lost the cheat code stuff once. I believe it was around the 360 or so.
Yeah.
Cheat codes kind of just went. Foomp.
I think
know?
with the invention of
when
the achievements.
When they added in achievements, they kind of got rid of those things
Yeah.
so that people couldn't exploit them. And then they just made stupid achievements that
Press start.
didn't matter what you did. Yeah. So.
Two things. One. Last year, do you guys remember at the Sony did the E3 press conference thing at the movie theaters?
Yeah, they're
Right.
doing,
They're
are they
doing
doing
it
that
again
again?
this year.
this year.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be more theaters and.
The problem with
More
that,
people.
well, the problem for us here, I don't think you were you. When did you
Yeah,
start?
I was with you guys.
You were with
last
us, yeah. The problem with us was that the closest theater was like an hour and a half away.
year. Yeah, Birmingham.
They were going to show it, and given what time they were going to go on,
Mhm.
and what time you'd be getting back, and everybody having to go to work, it was
You'd
just
have
like
you'd also have to miss out on at least one of the previous press conferences as well.
you would, and you also weren't guaranteed a seat
Mm.
At the theater,
at the theater.
you
yeah.
signed up.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did have to sign up.
And this time they're doing it to where 80% of the theater has to be sign-ups and then 20% is walk-in.
Okay.
But they haven't released the list of theaters yet.
Right,
So-
there may be a
and they
theater
said
close by
there's-
that does it.
They said they're increasing it by 300%, whatever that
That's
means.
not bad.
So,
That's not bad at all.
And with the theaters in town here in Montgomery having IMAX and bigger they've upgraded I think their theater since then. Maybe that'll help us. Maybe we'll get it here.
Possible. I hope you guys do. Although I think there was no problem running it. I don't know what you guys did last year to watch it.
I just streamed from home. 'Cause
Oh, you did it from home because it was so late.
We did get together
During the day stuff.
during the day
Yeah.
stuff, but like it was like just that big enough time difference. So like, let's just all go home because it'll be late at night here anyway. So
Yeah, I got my invite to Microsoft's press conference, but I have not gotten I haven't gotten an invite to anybody else's.
I say because you got Bethesda.
There's Bethesda, then there's Sony. I've got some
Ubisoft,
people.
EA.
Yeah, there's some people to reach out to for those. So I might still. I know I'm on the EA wait list, although I've still got an ace in my pocket to reach out to EA
Mhm.
and possibly get that. I haven't called upon her services yet, but I kind of wanted to see if I could just get on my own. I hate bugging people to get into these things. Like, they must have something so much better than to try to secure this, guy some pass to get into a press conference. But we'll see.
My other question for you is, did you watch the Lego's Back to the Future?
Of course I did. Of course I did.
It's
I know.
what do you think?
Christopher Lloyd's getting old. But
Yeah, he's still holding up.
But
well.
he's still does it well. He still does it
I
very
heard
well.
Michael J. Fox is now as old as Christopher Lloyd was back in Back to the Future.
Wow.
The weird thing is that, and I know we're getting off topic here a little bit, but whatever. We got 10 minutes of the show.
It's downtime now.
Yeah, really. Harrison Ford does Indiana Jones again. Looks like a really old Indiana Jones. Christopher Lloyd does another Doc Brown again. Doesn't look like an old Doc Brown.
Looks
They-
like
they
Doc
didn't
Brown.
have
Well,
a,
'cause they
a
made him-
screenshot of him sitting in a rocking chair with looking like Grandpa Jones.
Yeah.
That's what killed Harrison Ford there.
It just no man. That didn't kill Harrison.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see the actual movie because I was like, I
Wait, before
know
that.
You never
that-
saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
No,
That's fine. I'm just surprised.
I wasn't
You
interested.
caught wind of it beforehand, didn't you?
I just saw all the press come out. I was like, this isn't going to be good at all.
Yeah.
And then I was vindicated when everybody was like, oh man, I wish I hadn't seen that.
I'm
like,
glad I saw
and
it.
I'm
I mean, it wasn't the best by far.
James told me. James, I called it. I think he either called me or I called him after they got out of the movie, because I didn't go see it. I was going to go see it the second weekend it was open, and he got out of the movie, and I think he called me, and he's like, "Are you still planning on going to see it?" I was like, "Yeah. How was it?" He's like, "I'm just telling you, don't go see it." I was like, "Dude, I have to
Yeah.
to go see it. I'm sorry. I know. I have to. It's not that what if you're wrong, but."
I've
just
seen
gotta
the
go.
other ones. You gotta continue.
I gotta
yeah.
see it for myself, man. I've got
Nah,
to.
I can leave off of Last Crusade with everybody riding off in the sunset.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where it ends.
This is why I'm kind of grateful they never did anything with Back to the Future.
Yet.
Well, they did the.
They did the video game.
Yeah, they did video games, but
and that was
been about it.
all right. wasn't great. I wish it had taken the current Telltale approach of how they do their games.
Instead of
Well,
yeah,
Because Back to the Future was like the last one where they took the approach of Sam and Max, basically,
yeah.
and whatever else they had done at the time.
Tales of Monkey Island.
Yeah,
Don't underestimate Hollywood.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
The
I know.
kids are coming.
Yeah. Geez. Part of me is like, I can't wait for October of this year, because then finally that one image that keeps on circulating around social media about oh, this is the date that he went back to the future. He went to the future.
I thought the date already passed.
No, it's October.
No, it's October 16th
16th. Yeah,
of
2015.
2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So part of me wants to be like, finally they'll be able to put that to rest, but then no, people will still be like, 3 years from now, oh, today's the day that he went to the future. Yeah.
I need to rewatch those. It's been years since I've seen them.
I agree.
Like 8 years.
yeah,
since
I showed one not too long ago. That was pretty good.
That's
Still
right.
holds up.
Capri was doing one at they did Raiders, I believe.
Yeah, Raiders. I don't know how much that's being done digital now, because this was 2 years ago. We could only still get just the print film.
Just the
in there.
print, right? All right. Well, I don't know of anything that comes out next week. Again, I'll be playing Portal Pinball on Monday, so make sure you're tuned in for that.
Do you have a time?
I don't really have a time. I'll probably do it multiple times.
Okay.
It depends. I mean, if I can get Witcher fixed, we'll see. If Witcher is working okay, I'll put some time in with it. But and I'll still do the stream. But if it's not, I might stream multiple times for the Portal Pinball. I'm very interested in playing this table. When I looked over it, it had a very cluttered feel, which worked out great for the Rebels table. But I don't necessarily know how well it'll work out. I don't know if it doesn't always work out.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked cluttered, and we'll see. I like
Portal
cluttered.
table?
Yes.
Yeah, it did.
I like clutter. I like clutter on my pinball tables because that means my ball's going to do something. It's not just going to hover in the middle of the board if I didn't give it enough hits, or if it's going to hit a bumper somewhere and then just kind of be a airball across the table and do nothing.
All right,
I
quick
like it when they do
question.
something. Go ahead.
What table do you hate the worst?
Huh?
What table do you hate the most?
What table do I hate the most?
Mhm.
Like style or a particular table?
You don't like playing it at all.
Avengers. If we're talking about Zen Studios and the Pinball Effects 2 stuff,
Yes.
the very first Avengers table I did not like, and the only Civil War I didn't like either. I did not like those, and you can hear me in the videos for at least for Civil War where I hate this table.
Is that on YouTube?
Uh-huh.
I have to go back to
You'll
that.
have to watch that. I hate this table. I hate it. Now I recently went back to it, and I didn't learn to love it, but I got better at it. But I still hate the table. I'll have to go back to it. You'll hear. Maybe I'll give a reason as to why. I can't remember why.
Yeah.
But there is a significant reason why I hate that table. So, anyway, we've got to go. Well, go ahead.
Oh, just a quick addendum from what I said last week.
Yeah.
Played more Old Blood. It got better. A lot better.
Good.
Once you get past the first part of it, it actually became the second half of it, second act, all really entertaining, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. So I'm at the final boss now.
Okay.
So hopefully once I get my computer rolling, I'll be able to beat him.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining us in the chat room, as well as everybody listening on the stream or even on the radio. Thanks to everybody who grabs us each week from iTunes or however you get our show for later use. We really do appreciate it. Head over to ingamechat.net. You can join us on Twitter, Facebook, our forums at colonyofgamers.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our Twitch channel. And if you're on Steam, we've got a Steam group that you can join up with over there and play games with us and other listeners of the show. And do not forget to check out our Patreon page if you're interested in supporting us, patreon.com/ingamechat. We appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful week. We will see you next Saturday. Here's music from Planescape Torment.